Hey, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gadi Schwartz coming to you from Los Angeles. And here are the stories we're watching tonight, starting with the first ever tropical storm warning issued for Southern California. We're going to take a look at its projected path and what people are doing here to prepare. And as federal investigators hit the ground in Hawaii to try to figure out the exact cause of that deadly fire, community members are coming up with demands for local leaders.
The governor should ensure that all decisions about the rebuilding of Lahaina are made in the open and with full participation of our Lahaina community.
And Donald Trump might skip next week's presidential primary debate and skip cable altogether for a sit-down interview on Twitter, or X as it's now called, while authorities are preparing for the day he'll turn himself in to face those charges down in Georgia. And how hunting pythons might just be the perfect form of therapy for military veterans suffering from PTSD.
There's less tension.
It's a camping trip every time, whether we see a snake or not.
Tonight, a powerful hurricane is barreling towards us here in Southern California, already starting to scrape the Mexican coast. And the National Weather Service says it could bring life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flooding with it. This is Hurricane Hilary. It is a Category 4 storm right now with winds of over 130 miles an hour. The National Hurricane Center says that kind of storm can seriously damage homes, will very likely be knocking out power to a whole lot of people. And right now, it's about 300 miles off the coast of Cabo San Lucas. And even though it is hundreds of miles from there, this is what the beaches of Cabo looked like today. You can hear the wind howling there. Mexico's president says he has deployed over 18,000 people to help locals prepare. Now, if this Hilary goes down the path that we think it will, it's supposed to lose a little bit of its strength. And then this will also be the first time in over 80 years that a tropical storm has made landfall in California. SoCal is expected to see anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, but some parts could get 10 inches, and that is more than enough to sweep a car off the road. And in places like Death Valley and Palm Springs, they might get 3 years of rain in just 3 days. And all across the Southland, we are starting to see people line up for sandbags.
Personally, it's kind of unbelievable. I mean, this is unprecedented, so it's sort of unbelievable.
A lot of people here are excited because the waves are going to get pretty heavy, but I mean, it's going to be some rain, so usually there's some flooding and the landslides and things like that.
NBC's meteorologist.
This is going to be an incredible weekend for Southern California, something that we've never obviously experienced before in any of our lifetimes. And maybe some people remember what happened with Kathleen in 1976, but probably not a lot. So we have what is going to be the equivalent of a ton of tropical moisture heading into one of the driest locations on Earth, the desert Southwest. And it just happens there'll be 8 to 10,000 foot mountain peaks in the same area. So that's the recipe for disaster. That is the 100% focus of all of the problems. So the storm itself is still a beast, still a major. Still looks like a buzzsaw out there off the coast of Mexico. It's not going to cause any problems for anyone in the next 24 hours. But by the time we get to about Sunday morning, it's close enough to the central Baja that's when we'll start getting some of the wind damage and effects and waves and storm surge, that sort of thing. Then we weaken the storm. We're really going to focus in the time where the storm heads up near northern Baja, near Tijuana, into the southern portions of California. The one thing I will note, the storm is earlier than expected. According to a couple hours ago, we've really moved the timeline up a little bit, and it's going to be flying through Southern California. We're going to be watching this storm heading through Southern California about 6 p.m. to about midnight Sunday at 30 miles per hour. So the worst of it will only be in any location for like 2-3 hours at most. So that typically doesn't yield a lot of heavy rainfall issues, but I'll explain why this one will be a little different. All of our computer models, excellent agreement, almost over the top of San Diego, just to the east of Los Angeles, to the west of Palm Springs. And as far as the risk goes, I know one people were asking, could this actually make it as a hurricane to San Diego? It's like a 1 to 2% chance, but it is about a 50% chance we do get tropical storm gust winds in San Diego itself, maybe not in Los Angeles. And if we get that direct landfall or not, doesn't really matter. We only care about that when we have like really powerful hurricanes. This one is going to be a tropical storm. We don't have to worry about storm surge or anything like that. We're mostly going to be worried about the water. So the winds on the coastal areas, Gusts are likely in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, maybe a rare one, 50 to 60. That's going to mean like minor gas station signs, minor tree damage, that sort of thing. Isolated power outages will be the worst of it. And you will notice flood watches all through the region. We already have flash flood warnings, and those are from thunderstorms well ahead of the hurricane, not associated with it at all. Over 10 inches of rain. That's the scary part. If we get that in the mountains, I'm mostly concerned with the mountains east of San Diego, the Santa Rosa Mountains. Highest peaks are about 8,000 to 9,000 foot. So from Palm Springs southwards down to the Cleveland National Forest, that's the area of concern. If you're familiar with the Sunrise Highway in this area, I'm concerned with those areas could get washed out and have significant problems with all this heavy rain. It's going to happen in about 3 or 4 hours. Mud, debris flows, rock slides. That's all going to be occurring in this area. And that's why we have a high risk of flash flooding. These are rare. When they happen, they are life-threatening, and that's from Palm Springs southwards down to the border. Notice the moderate risk goes all the way through Death Valley and even Las Vegas. So this will be scattered, significant to catastrophic flash flooding. This will be widespread in this area to the south, Gadi. So again, this is going to happen quickly. This is all Sunday night. By the time we get to Monday, we're all going to be sitting there wondering, just how bad was it? And we'll wait for the pictures to come in. But I'm mostly concerned with those small communities in the mountains. A lot of those areas could be cut off because of these rock and mudslides and take days to get dug out.
Wild Sunday night. Fingers crossed. Bill Cairns, thanks so much. And NBC's Antonia Hilton joins us now from Seal Beach, California. Antonia, we are used to getting ready for an earthquake, but hurricanes and tropical storms, those are a little out of our wheelhouse here. So how are people getting ready?
Yeah, Gadi, you haven't seen something like this hit this coast for 84 years, since 1939. And so officials are urging people to take it seriously. Of course, the weather looks beautiful today. They want people to take advantage of that. Go out and get food right now. Get some batteries, tarps if you need them. Many communities have free sandbags available. I'm at a location where people have been picking them up all day. And so they want people to take the next 24 hours or so to get themselves ready to hunker down, because what they're worried about are these conditions on Sunday. We're expecting flooding. We're expecting potential mudslides, landslides, even the possibility of isolated tornadoes. And so they're asking people to, don't look at this weather and think that because things look good now, this is going to be a small little rainstorm. We are in for a potentially historic impact here, Gadi.
No shortage of sand there behind you. Talking about that, we did a little diving into the archives, looking for what happened the last time we saw a tropical storm. I want to show you some of those images. This is from Orange County back in 1939, the last time one hit. Earlier this year, we saw those atmospheric rivers causing all kinds of problems here in SoCal. Is this expected to be worse?
That's very possible, Gadi. And let's put it this way. I had a conversation earlier today with a researcher at San Diego State who told me that this is looking like it's going to be a once-in-a-century storm. And she warned me that it's not just the folks who live at the waterfront who should be nervous about flooding or impacts to their homes, that in fact, people who live inland might be even more at risk. And that's because of the soil here. It doesn't do a great job of absorbing all of that rain. Some areas are going to see 2 to 3 years worth of rain in 2 to 3 days. And so it doesn't matter if you're in lowlands, if you're up at the top of a hill, you're at risk of that flooding, you're at risk for potential landslides. And you should also just be careful about what that means for the roads. All of the conditions there. If you try to get out there, run errands, or go to work, you could be at risk. And so she was urging people to really, look back at 1939 and remember, when you see the impacts in those images, back then, it was a lot less populated in those areas than those same communities are right now, Gadi.
Well, let's hope they are wrong, but prepare for if they're right. Antonia Hilton, thanks so much. And turning now to Hawaii, where over 1,000 people are still missing, but the official death toll is still about 111 right now. Authorities say so far they have searched nearly 60% of the disaster zone, with hopes of searching 85% by this weekend, which means that the number of dead will likely go up in the next few days. Also, federal agents are now in Hawaii. The FBI is focusing primarily on DNA sample collection to help loved ones there find those missing, while ATF agents are there looking into exactly what caused the fire. All of this is happening while the local response to the crisis remains under intense scrutiny. We broke the news of one of the major developments right here last night when we told you that Herman Andaya, the head of the Maui Emergency Management Agency, had suddenly quit after defending his decision to not use alert sirens during the wildfires. Take a listen.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not. The public is trained to seek higher ground in the event that the siren is sounded, then they would have gone into the fire.
Now, the agency is now claiming that health reasons are behind that resignation. NBC's Dana Griffin has more from Maui, where the air quality is still dangerous more than a week after those fires ripped through.
Search and rescue crews are still in the rubble trying to find the missing. Right now, the death toll stands at 111. That number is still likely to climb as more people are asking for accountability as to why sirens weren't sounded, why water ran low, and why the power was not cut ahead of these fast whipping winds that moved through the town so quickly. We spoke with the member of the FEMA search and rescue team who tells me that this is going to be a very slow, methodical process because the rubble is 6 inches to a feet high, and they're having to be very careful because some of these buildings are not structurally sound. They are going through door by door, car by car. And the trouble is this fire burned so hot that it even changed the consistency of the concrete, something that they have never seen. They've been to tornadoes, they've been to hurricanes, they've been to other wildfires, but because this concentration of homes are feet apart, it's adding to just how hot this fire burned. It's unclear how long FEMA will be searching, but we even saw one of those canines that has been brought in to try to search for remains. This is a field that we are told by locals children play, and they're having to search because the bodies burned so hot that it's hard to make them out. A lot of them, unfortunately, are in ashes, and so they're using this dog to check everywhere just in case children may have been here or tried to run for it, because a lot of people, unfortunately, were succumbed by smoke inhalation, so they're finding them all over the town. And people want accountability. We know a federal investigator is in town. The ATF is in town to find the cause of the fire. You've also got that independent investigator who will look at the critical decision making and will look at what happened before, during, and after this fire to try to make sure this doesn't happen again. Gadi?
Dana, absolutely heartbreaking. Meanwhile, many from Lahaina are being let back in to see their homes, and they are finding them burned to the ground, so often finding nothing left but ashes and smoke. And those who have been fighting those fires are also among those devastated in the aftermath. Joining me now is Tasha Pungdilao. She lives in Lahaina. She is a Lahaina firefighter. That video that you just saw is what's left of Tasha's parents' home there. Tasha, we've heard so much from the people who fled the flames and escaped, but not from those who ran in to try to beat those flames back. I want to ask, what did you see during all that chaos?
Lots and lots of wind, lots and lots of fire, lots and lots of people running, lots and lots of people helping each other. I think as first responders, we're getting a lot of recognition for helping, but it really was a lot of the community that were pulling each other out of cars and carrying babies to safety and loading up their truck. It was the community members that were a lot of the heroes of that day.
I can't imagine being in the middle of a firestorm like that, and you have people questioning a lot of the decisions that were made during that chaos. But as you're describing it, was that a situation where everyone was just trying to save as many human lives as possible, and that was the priority?
Yeah, I mean, life is always number one in our line of business, and then property. So I think our main goal at the time was to evacuate as many people as we could, save as many people as we could, and keep it from spreading. But with the wind conditions and how hot the fire was just getting and being consumed by everything, it was pretty difficult to even kind of wrap our head around what was actually going on and what we're trying to do at the time. But the men and women that were by my side and all over town just tried their best, and we did what we could.
And Lahaina is such a small community. Did you know the people that you were helping? Did you know the streets that you were on and who lived there? And do you know some of the people that are missing right now?
So to answer the first question, if anyone's ever been to Lahaina, or anyone that's from Lahaina knows how close our community is. And we don't we don't really use street names. It's always like, oh, that's Uncle's house on the corner, and that's, you know, our coach's house down the street. So going in, it was tough to see like our own community members and our families' houses burn while we're trying to stay focused on the task at hand. So yeah, that was tough. And I didn't even know about my parents and if they were able to evacuate, or even if the fire was down at that end of the town. But it was just so surreal. And right now, my uncle, I guess my dad's brother, is still missing. And based on what my auntie has said, and from her experience, like, he saved her, and he told her to go, and she's still alive because of him. We're still kind of waiting for confirmation and some kind of closure. And I think that my cousin just got his DNA swabbed, and that's going to be the next step and some closure for a lot of other people in our community.
So your uncle saved your aunt? He was the last person she saw?
Yeah. My uncle has needed help most of my life because he had a stroke, and she cared for him, and they were stuck, and she tried to help him and pull him out, and he knew that he wouldn't make it. So he told her, like, you need to go. And he pushed her away. And what she explains of like a very traumatic and horrific event, she knows that if it wasn't for him, she wouldn't be here. And she ran, and she was in the ocean, and that's kind of what she left it at. And all I know is he's a hero for sure. He pushed her away, and she wouldn't be here today if he didn't push her away.
Tasha, he's a hero, just like you are a hero, and we can't thank you enough for joining us on such a difficult day. I do want to ask, the other firefighters that you were working with, how are they coping?
To be honest, there's maybe 17 firefighters that lost their home that day, and they were either working that night, and if they weren't working that night, they were back the next day to help. Nothing, they lost everything. They were back the next day to help, to see what they could do, and they're coping by leaning on each other, and we're doing this all day by day, and it's really just been the community that's been helping. It's sticking together and providing everyone what they need to get on their feet.
I can't believe you guys are still moving forward. That spirit is unbreakable. Tasha, thank you so very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for your time.
And as crews continue the heartbreaking work of sifting through the ashes of Lahaina, local business owners are dealing with the loss of everything they've worked for. NBC's Steve Patterson spoke to one top chef who is still serving the community even after she lost her own life's work.
As those ravenous flames consumed Lahaina street by street, some say it felt like the very soul of Maui was being swallowed.
It is the heart of Hawaiian culture and history. There's so much that's been lost.
Somewhere, buried among the ruins, Chef Leanne Wong's pride and joy, her restaurant Papa Aina.
We've lost an entire town.
She says 80% of her staff lost their homes.
Could you drain that for me?
To the mainland, Wong is an exciting culinary personality, a frequent contestant on cooking competition shows like NBC's sister network Bravo's Top Chef. Here, she's a local treasure. And now head chef of the island's effort to feed hot meals to people who've lost everything.
We're here to say, hey, we see you, we want to cook for you, we want to feed you.
Every day since the fire, this group of dedicated chefs, cooks, and volunteers serve about 10,000 meals.
Taco meat.
Another Top Chef alum, Maui's Sheldon Simeon, is heading up the kitchen.
We take it for granted when we have it, right? That nourishing meal. And, if we can do our part by giving food, food is medicine.
It's hard, but Wong says serving others is healing.
Have you had time to reflect and think about Lahaina?
Oh. Everybody on this island is our family, and we're all hooing together to see what we can do to how to lift each other up and hold each other up.
Truth is, Hawaii's soul was never in the bones of old buildings, but in the beating hearts of its people. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Maui.
So true. Steve Patterson, thanks so much. And coming up, Donald Trump to surrender. We've got the details on when the former president is expected to turn himself in. That's coming up next, so stay tuned. Hey there, welcome back. And here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. Believe it or not, the first Republican presidential debate is 2024 is next Wednesday, but Donald Trump is skipping it. Instead, he's going to sit down with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, who now has a show on X. And a Texas man who allegedly shot at 4 officers within 24 hours has finally been arrested. He's accused of shooting at a deputy during a traffic stop Wednesday, then hurting 3 more officers when they closed in on him during this SWAT situation that you're seeing there on Thursday. He faces 3 counts of attempted capital murder. And it looks like drug and alcohol use was on the rise last year. According to the National Institutes of Health, binge drinking as well as marijuana were at all-time highs for people 35 to 50. For younger adults, using marijuana and hallucinogens are way up over the last 5 years as well. And in Georgia, a 5th grade teacher was fired for reading a book to her students about gender identity. The divided school board made that decision despite a panel of retired teachers recommending not to. The teacher is thought to be the first in Georgia to be let go because of the state's new parental rights laws. And happy birthday to former First Lady Rosalynn Carter, who turns 96 today. She is celebrating at home with her husband, former President Jimmy Carter. She's celebrating with cupcakes and peanut butter ice cream, and she's also releasing butterflies into her garden. Now, could we see Donald Trump on trial before the 2024 election? Not if the former president's legal team has anything to do with it, but special counsel Jack Smith and Trump's lawyers have very different ideas about when that trial should start. NBC's Ken Delanian has the latest.
Gadi, Judge Tanya Chutkan has scheduled a hearing for August 28th to decide exactly when she's going to set a trial date. But in the meantime, both sides are miles apart on when this trial should take place. As you know, the special counsel Jack Smith is asking for a trial date of January, which a lot of people think is very ambitious. But now Donald Trump's lawyers have weighed in with an extraordinary request that this trial begin in April, not 2024, not 2025, but April 2026. Which nobody thinks is realistic. But in making the case for that, Trump's lawyers do make some reasonable points. They note that the prosecution is turning over in discovery some 11.5 million documents in this case, and they made a number of allusions and metaphors to try to explain how big a volume of information that is. One of them is that for them it would amount to having to read War and Peace 85 times a day, every day until the start of jury selection. But of course, that's a little bit of a misnomer because they don't have to look at every single document. The prosecution is going to give them a roadmap of the key documents in the case. But nonetheless, they do have to have time to prepare. And that's why many observers think a January of next year trial date is not realistic. So now Judge Tanya Chutkan has to decide. And all this is coming as we get some more news today, which is that down in Georgia, in that separate election-related case against Mr. Trump and others down there, law enforcement sources expect Donald Trump to surrender no earlier than Thursday of next week. And remember that he'll be booked at the jail in Fulton County, not the courthouse, but the jail, where we believe he'll be fingerprinted, perhaps a mugshot taken. They say they're going to do things just like they would with any other defendant down there. So lots of legal news in terms of the former president, and no sign of that abating. Gadi.
Thanks, Ken. And as tensions grow in the Indo-Pacific, the leaders of Japan and South Korea are visiting the United States for a meeting with President Biden at Camp David today. And the leaders are declaring a new era between those 3 nations. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell is at Camp David with the details.
Good evening, Gadi. Camp David, of course, is known as a presidential retreat, this leafy getaway in Maryland. But today it was also a diplomatic tool for President Biden. Other presidents have done it at pivotal moments, too, bringing other leaders here to use this place and the importance of the setting to have conversations and to try to move big issues. President Biden meeting with the leaders of Japan and South Korea today. And while he's met both of them many times before, and the 3 of them have met at other summits, summits. This is the first time the three of them are meeting for an expressed purpose of trying to build this relationship. And while the U.S. has had good relations with both countries, Japan and South Korea have gone through a lot of difficult times over the decades and have been working on thawing some of those complex problems because of all the new issues they face. North Korea, of course, is always threatening on the nuclear front. China has shown more aggression. And, of course, there are the economic impacts of dealing with China, a superpower on the world stage. So this was important for President Biden. It was historic, they say, because of the new arrangement that's been made here, a series of agreements that deal with economic issues, security issues, and something they hope will be a signal for years to come. They've committed to meeting each year as the three leaders, and they want to forge new relationships. And the president said success can bring about new beginnings. And he said this place, Camp David, has had a history of that. And so he brought the leaders together today at a time when world events need to shore up democracy and to shore up these kinds of allied partnerships. Gadi?
NBC's Kelly O'Donnell, thanks so much. And coming up, construction crews are working in the dead of night to replace the runway at one of the busiest airports in the country. We're going to show you how they do it just in time for planes to land each morning. But first, you got to see this. Forget about sports experts. These little meerkats there are making some pretty good sports predictions. After 3 correct guesses, they are betting on England to beat Spain in this weekend's final. Those buckets are filled with worms, and clearly they can't just get enough of those buckets. It looks like they're going after that England bucket very hard. Hopefully the team in England is as hungry as those meerkats. Pretty clear who they want to win. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. And here's what's happening here on the West Coast. San Francisco's rollout of those driverless taxis has not been great. Last night, 2 of them crashed, one into a fire truck while carrying a passenger who is not seriously hurt. The second crash happened a few hours later, but no one was in that driverless taxi when it barreled through an intersection. And despite those problems, the city of San Francisco just launched an autonomous bus service as well. The all-electric shuttle is going to be running daily from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it'll be free to ride. And the LAPD is considering using, get this, lassos on buses and subway trains. On people on buses and subway trains, that would be a lot harder. They're calling them non-lethal whip-like devices. Apparently, it's a handheld weapon that, when fired, wraps around a person's body, kind of like you'd see in Batman. A number of LA cops have been using them since 2019. And turning now to Michigan, where the fate of self-confessed school shooter Ethan Crumbley now lies in a judge's hand. Today was the final day of testimony before the judge decides whether he's eligible to be sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, he was 15 when he killed 4 of his classmates at Oxford High School back in November of 2021, and he pled guilty to murder and terrorism charges. But he is not the only one facing charges in connection to this school shooting. You might remember his parents were also arrested after leading police on a manhunt. This case is the first of its kind where parents of a school shooter are also facing charges. NBC's Maura Barrett has been following all of this. Maura, so the big question throughout this hearing, is he mentally ill, and what could that do to his sentencing?
Well, Gadi, the reason for this hearing is that question around whether or not he should serve life with or without parole. And that's focused around the fact that he was a minor when this happened. The prosecution arguing that he caused so much trauma to the community that he shouldn't have the chance for parole, while the defense said that he has the opportunity to rehabilitate while in prison and ultimately reenter society. And so the mentally ill factor was something that they were going back and forth about, because the defense is saying that he had such a severe mental illness that he was reaching states of psychosis and hallucinations, leading him to go and act out that school shooting that we saw just a few years ago. And so we heard from a series of witnesses over these last few hearings. Today we heard specifically from a forensic psychiatrist who really pushed back against the defense's argument, saying that when she was speaking with Crumbley and reviewing tapes upon tapes of around the time of the shooting as well as after for the years following, that she didn't experience any of those symptoms of psychosis. I'm going to hear a little bit of what she said in her testimony today.
I asked the defendant if he was hallucinating at the time of the shooting, and he told me he was not. And I specifically asked him if he was experiencing what's called command hallucinations, which are voices commanding you to do something like harm someone else. and he specifically denied those as well.
We also saw a video from the back of the police car when Crumbly was arrested after the shooting, as well as an interview immediately after as well with law enforcement officials. And again, she points that he doesn't appear to be reacting to any hallucinations or any other indications that someone could be talking to him in his head, for example. And so this is something that the judge now is set to consider, and we expect to get a decision about that parole with or without question at the end of September, Gadi.
And I know part of this case was him saying that he had asked his parents for some sort of therapy before this happened, and he may not have gotten it. What's the latest with his parents? They're facing charges as well, right?
Yeah, their names are brought up a lot during these hearings, too, Gadi, because they talk about Crumbly being raised in an unstable household and not necessarily getting the help that they needed. But then there was obviously all this contention around whether or not they helped him with it. And so they are facing involuntary manslaughter charges, both for ignoring the concerns that the school had expressed about Crumbly's mental health or his status, as well as supplying him with the gun and giving him access to a gun ahead of that school shooting. Now, they are seeking to block those charges, and that case is currently stalled in Michigan State Supreme Court, but obviously a very unique situation in covering these mass shooting cases. Gadi.
Maura Barrett, thanks so much. And under the cover of night, there's this race against time happening at Reagan National Airport, all working to finish a runway before flights start landing in the morning. NBC's Tom Costello got a first-hand look.
American 2752, Washington, winds calm, runway 33, clear to land.
In the shadow of the Washington Monument and Capitol Hill, Reagan National is rarely quiet.
19er via Juliet, hold short 15, give away to American from the right, Endeavor 5170.
And runway 119 is America's busiest, since it's the only one that can handle big planes at DCA. 819 flights a day. But at 11 p.m. sharp, the flashing X tells pilots Reagan's longest runway is out of action.
Runway 1's closed. Copy that, runway 1's closed.
And the runway pit crews start their nightly race against the clock, cutting and grinding 1,000 feet of runway each night, then laying down a new layer of fast-drying asphalt. They don't have much time.
American 875, contact Potomac departure, good night.
As smaller planes use another runway, runway 119 must reopen in just a few hours. It's midnight. They started working at 11 o'clock. The clock is ticking. They've got until 6 a.m. to get their work done. At 6 a.m., the first planes start landing and taking off. It's all about fixing the cracks in the runway that come from years of rain and ice. But you don't have to be an aviation geek to think this is cool. They're actually peeling back years of history. Runway 1 was laid in 1941 when National Airport first opened before World War II. FDR was president and planes were much smaller with propellers. Now a Belfast company is in charge of the biggest rehab here in 8 decades. James Keoch is the project manager. This runway is taking a pounding every day, isn't it, from these jets landing here?
Yeah. So that's hence the reason this year we're replacing 8 inches every night this year.
Cutting holes for new runway lights and sweeping up every piece of debris before it can get sucked into a jet engine. But engineers say the foundation that's carried the weight of 82 years of travel is rock solid.
Runway 33, clear takeoff. Runway 33, clear takeoff, prepared 4413.
There's a sense of history out here, isn't there? I mean, this runway was laid in 1941.
It's amazing what we are doing, and it's a runway which was built 8 decades ago. It's still serving this airport and this capital of the nation.
Tom Costello, NBC News.
Only Tom Costello could make us love runways that much. Tom, thanks so much. Coming up, a Canadian wildfire is forcing an entire town to evacuate immediately.
Pretty heartbreaking. We're in downtown Kelowna and the west side is burning like crazy. It's so insane.
Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world in 80 seconds. It's been a year and a half since the war in Ukraine started, and the total number of Ukrainian and Russian troops killed or hurt is now nearing 500,000 humans. That's according to U.S. officials, though they were quick to say these are just estimates since Russia tends to undercount their losses, and Kyiv does not disclose official numbers. And in Canada, a massive wildfire has forced a citywide evacuation, some 20,000 people there. It's all happening around the town of Yellowknife, which is the capital of the Northwest Territories. People started driving hundreds of miles yesterday to get to safety or waiting in line to get on emergency flights. Canada has seen record numbers of wildfires this year, burning more than 50,000 square miles. And in Libya, at least 55 people have been killed and nearly 150 have been hurt after days of violent fighting between rival militias. Earlier this week, there was a ceasefire, and now Libyan security forces are reportedly patrolling the streets. And people in Ecuador will head to the polls this Sunday to choose their new president, but this comes less than 2 weeks after one of the candidates was assassinated. Sunday's ballot will have the names of 8 candidates, but experts worry that fear of violence might reduce turnout. And now to a simply gut-wrenching story. As so many of us know, being a new parent is scary enough. But just imagine that one of the nurses that you've trusted to care for your newborn baby turns out to be a murderer. That is the horrifying reality for several families in the UK who lost their children at the hands of Lucy Letby. The 33-year-old former neonatal nurse has just been found guilty, charged with the murder of 7 babies and attempting to kill 6 others, all of it happening in just 1 year, which has authorities concerned there could be more victims. Our partners at Sky News have more.
Hello, Lucy, is it? Yeah. Hello, my name's Chester, please. Okay, step in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Lucy Letby's crimes are difficult to comprehend. Her victims, babies, so tiny, so fragile, so many. But her arrest in 2018 led today to her conviction. And now this shocking title as the most prolific child killer of modern British history.
Lucy Letby was entrusted to protect some of the most vulnerable babies. Little did those working alongside her know that there was a murderer in their midst.
The jury at Manchester Crown Court deliberated for 22 days, agreeing that Letby killed 7 babies and attacked 6 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital. But in court and in police questioning, she always repeatedly denied she'd done anything wrong.
Did you have any concerns that there was a rise in the mortality rate?
Yes. I think we don't just notice as a team in general, the nursing staff, that this was a rise compared to previous years.
This used to be Nursery 1, also coined the hot room.
But we now know colleagues on this neonatal unit raised suspicions about Letby months before bosses moved her off the ward and well over a year before police were called in.
This case has had a profound impact on our patients and our local community, and also our staff, who come to work every day determined to provide safe and high-quality care for all of our patients. Our staff are devastated by what has happened, and we are committed to ensuring that lessons continue to be learned.
The government has asked for an independent inquiry into this, and Cheshire Police have confirmed they will look into the other years of Letby's career to see if she harmed other babies. Lucy Letby decided not to leave the courthouse cells today and appear in the dock to hear those verdicts being announced. But many of the victims' families were here, the majority in tears, comforting each other. The mother of one child held a stuffed toy rabbit to her face as they learnt that a woman they thought would care for their children actually attacked and killed them.
This has been a long and emotional journey for all of the families involved in this case. I speak on behalf of the entire prosecution team when I say that all of their babies will forever be in our hearts.
Lucy Letby's parents have also been in court, at times mouthing "I love you" to their daughter. But families of the victims say for them this trial has been utter hell. These are the parents of child L and M, twin boys that Lucy Letby attacked, speaking to media for the very first time.
There's no doubt it's going to affect me for the rest of my life. There's no way you can get away from it. It's always going to be there in the back of your mind. It's been hell, to be honest.
Very, very horrendous. I want a life sentence.
But it's not going to do justice no matter what. She's taken lives. She's tried to take other babies' lives. So whatever sentence she gets, it's not going to be enough. It will be justice, but it won't be enough, whatever the sentence comes.
But it is a sentence that Lucy Letby will not hear in person. Leaving the courthouse today in a prison van, she said she won't appear at Monday's sentencing. The woman who hid her crimes behind a smile and an NHS badge, now refusing to let victims' parents see her as justice is served.
So disturbing. Katerina Vitozzi of Sky News, thank you so much. Now, before we go, a chance to see the world again. Doctors are now able to restore vision to people who lost it with the help of stem cells. Dr. Sayal is going to be here next to explain it all. Tonight in the future of everything, and now to a groundbreaking new surgery, literally reversing vision loss for people with severe eye injuries. Doctors are taking stem cells from the patient's healthy eye and then implanting them into the damaged eye. It is still an experimental procedure, but it looks like it's starting to work. And here's NBC's Kristen Dahlgren with the details.
Straight in 25, clear to land.
Nick Carufe always dreamed of being a pilot.
I figured that would be perfect career path for me.
And he was well on his way until a freak accident on July 4th, 2020, near his home in California.
We were watching the fireworks. Instead of shooting up in the air, it exploded on the floor. I unfortunately took a direct hit to my left eye, dead center.
The eye blinded.
Thought my life was done. I didn't really know if it was going to ever get better.
Until he heard about a completely new procedure being done at Mass Eye and Ear.
It looks very good.
Dr. Ula Yorkunis and her team pioneered a procedure they call CALIC, using stem cells to restore the cornea in the damaged eye of patients with severe injuries.
It is possible to take a small biopsy of these stem cells, grow them in the laboratory, and then transplant them onto the patient's eye, taking it from healthy eye to the diseased eye.
In a phase 1 study of the first 4 patients, all saw marked improvement. 2 saw significantly better without additional treatment, and the other 2 were able to go on to get artificial corneas.
Look a little bit up and down.
Nick moved to Boston and is now one of a new group of patients receiving the surgery.
At what point did you realize it had worked?
Not too long after the first surgery, I was able to see. It was this whole thing, and I was crying.
While still in its early stages, doctors consider this a stepping stone and say stem cell therapies may someday go beyond corneal injuries to things like glaucoma, maybe even other parts of the body. Nick is now flying again for fun.
Especially to see even just the blue sky out of the left side is so crazy because I never thought I would ever see that ever again.
For the first time in a long time, seeing hope. Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News, Boston.
Kristen, thank you so much. And joining us now for more on this is NBC medical fellow Dr. Akshay Sayal. Dr. Sayal, thanks so much for being with us. This is one of those ones where you're like, oh, yeah, stem cells, they fix things. But, like, what? How does this work?
Hey, you know, Gadi, you did a great job of explaining it just before the package there. And essentially what happens is you have a bad eye and a good eye. And, you know, for things like fireworks, like in Nick's case, or maybe things like chemicals from dishwasher liquid sort of getting in your eye and causing blindness. Basically, you take stem cells from the good eye, you put them in a petri dish, you kind of grow them and multiply them, and then you put them into the bad eye, and that helps restore the vision. And what makes this so, you know, exciting is that unlike other organ transplants where you have to take, you know, immunosuppressive drugs to weaken your immune system so the body doesn't reject it, these are your own cells. You don't have to do that, and that's what makes this so exciting and so hopefully, you know, one day potentially scalable. Gadi, the real thing here for this condition, limbal stem cell deficiency, we really don't have a lot of options. So patients who like Nick in that story there, who have firework accidents from the 4th of July or what have you, they don't have a lot of options right now. And I think, you know, it is early, it is a small amount of patients, but it really is something that's very desperately needed for these patients who are, you know, told by doctors, sorry, there's nothing we can really do about it.
Not to jump way too far in advance here, but okay, so if you could do this with eyes, does this mean that you might be able to do it with arms or with other appendages?
Yeah, and Kristen alluded to that in that story a little bit, that this is kind of another notch on the belt for stem cell therapy. Just a few weeks ago, I was in the operating room where surgeons were putting stem cells directly into the brain to help stop seizures. We've talked about stem cells maybe for spinal cord injuries where patients have freak diving accidents and kind of help regenerate that. So I think, yeah, while this may be a few years away, we are going to have to see more and more studies. It is just further proof that this whole emerging field of regenerative medicine is something that is very much worth looking into and may someday, be a very real possibility and not just a futuristic sci-fi movie.
The magic of stem cells. I have a feeling, Dr. Akshay, we're going to have to do like a week-long, hour-long special every single day so you can explain that magic to us fully. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Anytime.
Now, turning to Florida, where they've got a python problem. Make that pythons problem plural with a big fat S. We are talking tens of thousands of Burmese pythons wreaking havoc on Florida's ecosystem. And it all first started when they were pets. They grew. People thought, well, we'll just throw them into the swamp. What could go wrong? And now the state is at war with this invasive species. So NBC's Marissa Parra headed out, and she's got this story about their twisted relationship with another species that knows a thing or two about war. Take a look.
Deep in the marshes of South Florida, the Everglades is teeming with life. Easier to hear it than it is to see it.
You've got to look for the pattern and maybe a shine.
And you better come prepared.
Snake boots protects from venomous snake bites, and also sawgrass.
They're ready for combat with Burmese pythons. But finding nocturnal creatures skilled at hiding doesn't come easy. Tina and Gary Petty are up to the task. They're new to the hunting field. They're also married, and this is date night, a shared love that started with an Instagram post.
I was like, what is this?
This is a nonprofit called the Swamp Apes, and their mission, they say, is to serve veterans through serving the wilderness. They bring veterans south to join the growing ranks of Florida's python hunters. In July, this video captured the moment the longest python on world record was found in the Everglades. That same week, hunters found the largest python nest in state history. Experts say getting the invasive species out is crucial.
They are eating our native birds, reptiles, and mammals. We have seen significant declines in many different mammal species.
To get a sense of how hard wrangling a python really is, we had Florida Fish and Wildlife show us with one of their smaller captures, who quickly did what a python does best.
You can see what she's doing with the tail.
It's a hands-on sport. You're sweating, surrounded by bugs and other things.
Sometimes holding the tail will help keep them from flicking when they defecate all over you.
But where hunting pythons is clearly helping the environment, we wanted to know how this is also helping veterans. So we took to the swamp with the idea maker himself, Tom Rahill.
This is kind of filling a need that's kind of hard to fill in civilian life afterwards.
Yeah, especially when they come out. I've had hundreds of veterans tell me that they like and miss the camaraderie, the purpose that they had in the military.
A feeling these veterans know all too well. Tina and Gary both served in the Army. Gary was in combat in Afghanistan. She signed them up for this program to help him cope with trauma known as PTSD.
What do you feel comfortable telling us about the hardest moments that you feel like this has helped you with?
I don't really want to, honestly. Sorry.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years since those days, but those wounds are still healing, and they both feel it.
Getting out of the military, whether you're a combat veteran or not, is very difficult.
The nonprofit founder has a policy. He doesn't ask his members many questions, but he finds that with time, they volunteer answers.
I've seen a lot of those veterans that were on the bubble and not adjusted just start bonding and then opening up and talking to me about their service.
Something about working as a team, being outdoors, and having a mission seems to be working.
I've seen veterans having nightmares and having manifestations of PTSD improve dramatically.
Gary and his marriage with Tina are living proof.
He sleeps better. There's less tension.
It's a camping trip every time, whether we see a snake or not.
Now they do this together every chance they get. They don't always find pythons, but what they really came for, they've already found.
Just having a purpose, being a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Man, I was expecting a snake story. That turned into a love story. Marissa, thank you so much for joining us. What an incredible idea. And yet you got down there. Not only were there snakes, which I'm terrified of, but you have to wrestle them and then they poop on you? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Well, luckily, I got to dodge that last part, but that took me by surprise. It was smelly. The whole thing was sweaty. It was dirty. But the interesting thing is, and I know fun is a subjective word, but it was really fun. And even though we were getting bit by bugs, all kinds of bugs in all kinds of places throughout the night, even though we thought that by nightfall they would go away. I think the biggest testament here, I love snakes, but my producer, Juliet Arcodia, she hates snakes. And even she had fun. She was such a trooper. She was right there in the thick of it with me the entire time. But I think both of us, what was so interesting is you're so focused on the moment and you're in the outdoors. It's beautiful out there. And what was really interesting, too, is getting to know this really unique group of people.
And you made it look fun. That is my biggest nightmare out there. But talk to us a little bit about that therapeutic relationship between hunting pythons and veterans with PTSD. It seems you could feel it. It seemed cathartic.
Yeah, and so this is something that I've had a chance to talk to veterans a lot about over the years. When they get out of the service, a lot of them struggle with having that mission. And so that sense of purpose that you heard Gary and Tina talking about. And so when you're out there, we really got to see firsthand, all of your senses are alive. There's also that adrenaline rush. And especially when you're in combat, you have that adrenaline rush out in the field, serving in the military. And so when they get out, they struggle with desk jobs and 9-to-5s. And so having something like this, I think, is therapeutic in more ways than one, because it serves the purpose of fulfilling that adrenaline rush that is often missing and lacking, but in a safe way. And then they're also serving a purpose by helping the environment, by catching pythons, which, again, it's a specific type of person that enjoys this sort of thing. But it was really fun. And it's certainly unforgettable.
You said safe, but in a safe way. Like, is that safe?
If you do it correctly, which Florida Fish and Wildlife showed us how to do it, it's safe if you know what you're doing. And they showed us different types of techniques to keep you safe. So if you know what you're doing, it is safe. And definitely not for the faint of heart, though. Maybe not something you'll be doing anytime soon, Gadi.
Yeah, no, not at all. Marissa Parra, Python hunter. If I see a snake, I'm calling you first. Thanks so much for joining us.
Got it.
And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you on Monday, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.